Okay, good morning again. Once again, I welcome all the participants to this FDP. This session is going to handled by Mr. Pradeep Swamiji Pradeep. Uh, Comparing to all other session, I think it will be very different for you because it's not about media, it's not about photography, it's not about communication. Okay, it's about your life. How to live, how to live. Okay, this session's resource person Swamiji Pradeep. He's an motivational speaker, life coach, trainer. He's having lot of avatars. He mentioned in his book, which is highly impressive for us. You think of saying and work hard before you think of saying and work hard. Think of someone who can't speak. Before you complain about the taste of your food, think of someone who has nothing to eat. It's a very important points for everyone's life. Swamiji Pradeep is a motivational speaker, mental skill trainer, psychologist, yoga therapist, author, spiritual healer, and many. He has completed his master's in psychology, bachelor's in hypnotherapy, and PhD in yoga. He has been teaching yoga and conducting counseling sessions in India and abroad for over 10 years. He is the author of a couple of famous books, Breathe, Life, Living and Happiness, Truth in 1 Minute. With this kind note, I request Swamiji Pradeep to address for this session to our participants. The participants all over India, they are media and other faculty members and research scholars. Pradeep, now the session is for you, is yours.
Okay, thank you, sir. Pranam, namaste, good morning to all. And before I start the session, first my advance Diwali, Deepavali, greetings to each and every one of you, your family, your friends. Have a fantastic Diwali. Thank you. And thanks, doctor. Thanks a lot for introducing me to this August session and people with high profile, career, and I'm really humbled to participate in this session. And I was not aware, what is the, the whole program. So now when I heard that it is all about media and photography, so this session about stress is something totally different for everyone.
Pradeep, once again.
Yes.
Participants, if it is not audible, you can give a note. I think your volume is little less. You can increase it.
Now is it clear, sir?
Clear, but be loud.
Okay, great. So hope it's clear now.
Sir, audio is good, but humming is there. Some buyer may be loose or something there. There is some humming. Otherwise,
yeah, Dr. Gupta is saying.
Okay.
Still humming is there, sir.
Okay, one moment. Let me then take off my laptop. Let me connect my.
Some connector may lose.
Maybe another speaker is on. You can.
Yeah. Is it now clear?
Yes.
It's still humming, sir.
Yeah.
Now it's okay. Still there.
One moment. Yeah. Now is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm connecting from my mobile.
Yes, you can proceed there.
Okay. So to start off, this session is all about stress management. So people in life, we all generally have gone through or going through a lot of stress in our life in various aspects, whether it is personal life, whether it is official life, whatever it is, everything is stressed out, and we are still confused in how to handle it. So before going into the session, generally, what I do is I just brief what my session is all about. So what I'll be doing is, just run through this session for some time about stress. Then I will be briefing you about what is the positivity and the negativity of stress. And finally, there are a couple of sessions where, I will be teaching you a simple breathing exercise where to practice that, you can really come out of your stress, and also a small session on meditation. And finally, if we have time, we can have an interactive session. So this is the way, I generally, go through. So to start with the stress, generally, there is a formula in stress. Okay. It is called S is equal to P greater than R. That means stress is always equal to pressure greater than the resource. So generally, if you see, when the resource exceed our expectation or exceed our demands, then the pressure takes over, and then you get stressed out. Whether it is studies, whether it is business, whether whatever you do, it's always like this. We go through the pressure because the resource exceeds. For example, if a person is earning around a salary of around 20,000, and his expenses over 30,000, obviously he's going to be stressed out because the demand is more than what his income is. So before going into in detail about the stress activities, let me start with a small story. Okay, how to handle things in life. So this, before the story, is normally what we generally do is anything in life. What we do is we try to go in fast pace. Like everything we do, it has to be done quickly, as if we don't have time. Every minute, every second, we count, we check, and we move forward in a fast paced life. So this story is about in a village, a guy is a small villager, and he's happy with his family life, and he works outside, and once he comes back home, what he does is he has a tree near his house. Okay, he goes near to the tree, hold one of the branch, pray for some time, then he enters into the house. And then neighbors around can see him, his family, laugh and have fun. So they used to wonder, every day they are watching him. Evening when he goes inside, he does the prayer, goes in. Again morning when he comes out, again he holds the branch, goes for work. And they have not seen him, unhappy, or they have not seen that family fighting, nothing. So they were amused, and they thought, okay, let's go and check what is the secret behind this. Is the tree giving him the power? So what the neighbors did is, one, they confronted him, and they just asked him, sir, we just want to know, how come you are able to have happiness and fun in your life? Because we couldn't hear any fight or any issue from coming from your house. Is there a secret in the tree? So that villager, he said, see, there is no secret in the tree as such. What I generally do is, once I come back from my work, I visualize that all the problems what I bring from my work, I park it in the tree. Rather, I leave it in the tree. I'll assume, so that I don't take it with me into my house, because what is to be done in the official work should be outside of the house. So once I go in, I'm happy with my family, so I enjoy. And the problems or the issues what I see in the official level, by the time I wake up in the morning, most of them would have gone, or it would become lighter, or even if there are certain issues which I need to handle, I would get a solution. Why? Because I'm not carrying the weight of the problem. So again, when I come back in the morning, when I start leaving, Again, I visualize and see and pray that take the problems, go back to the office and handle. So I have clearly demarcated that official level is different, personal level is different. So never bring your office problems to your home. So in that way, what has happened is he is living a stress-free life. So this is just a story. Okay, so this story just gives you an idea how we should handle our life, not to take things, heavy or pressurized manner, where you feel you succumb to certain pressure. Example like studies, especially this is a college, and I'm not sure how many of you are students over here, but still, whether it is students or whether it is official level, any level, we always try to take things too much into ourselves and put ourselves in innumerable stress, and what happens is that deliverable generally doesn't happen the way we really wanted, whether it is study or in sports or in business also. So generally, if you see stress, there are positive as well as a negative aspect of stress also. So, and also, generally stress is absolutely required in our life. So if you see the positive aspect or the negative aspect, both to combine, what exactly is stress? So we need to understand what is stress and what exactly stress is all about. So stress is generally nothing but a loss of something, or failure of something, or what you think what you have not got. So it is a dejection, disappointment, failure. These are all the aspects which put a strain on our mind, and then it invariably comes and affects us on our performance or our life or our livelihood. So that is how the stress generally happens. So generally it is about pain or disappointments. So when you go through that, understand how to handle these pain, these disappointments, and the failures in life, you can handle your stress. So how do you handle? I'll give you I'll give you a live example. I used to train even Tamil Nadu cricket players. Okay, I'm a freelance coach for them for yoga and mental skills training. So I used to train all these young cricketers in Tamil Nadu Cricket Academy from the age group of 12 till the Ranji players. What I found amusing about them is that, especially the kids between the age group of 12, 14, 16, the kind of pressure they are going through, okay, in terms of studies, in terms of sports, the expectation from the parents, from the coach is huge. Okay, so what they generally do is, but they just love it. Okay, so they love coming and playing the game, they love what they do. So the why they are not getting stressed out is because they love what they do. They are so passionate about their game, they are passionate about what they do. So in terms of studies also, yes, there are several kids, they may not be interested in studies, but still I've seen so many kids, they do keep up, with their studies also in the right aspect, and sports also in the right aspect. They balance their life in such a way that nothing is affected their personal life also. So even my own nephew is also a cricket player, and his morning starts at around 5 in the morning. He goes for coaching, then come back, go to school, come back again, go for evening coaching. Again evening he'll sit and study. But yes, not feeling the strain. Why? Because he loves what he is doing. He's passionate about it. Anyway, right now in this last 8 to 9 months, we don't have any school or colleges, but I'm still in the normal circumstances. So these kids, okay, why they are not stressed out is because, as I told you, love what you do, be passionate in what you do. In that case, this stress will not affect you. The same manner, this is about how you handle the stress in a positive manner. There are about negative stress also. Okay, so how you handle the negative stress is, again with an example, let me tell you. Uh, I know a person who's such a gifted guy. His gift is such like he can write poems and art and literature is amazing, that guy is. But what has happened is his life is not so easy. Okay, he's also did not study proper, because what he thinks is, this whatever the talent he's got, that overconfidence has ruined his life in such a way that he is unable to present his talent. So over the period of a time, even his studies was not good, and then even in job also, what he does is he thinks that he knows everything because he's over talented. He can see things. So what happens is, when you overthink, overdo, and you that overconfidence sometimes let you down very badly, and you get stressed out. And that guy is a miserable failure right now because he's unable to do anything, and it cost his physical health also very badly. So, you know, hope I'm clear, right? Because I'm feeling uncomfortable because of this mobile phone. It's just not staying proper. Yeah. So, sir, is it clear, right? My audio is clear? All
Yes.
good?
Yes.
Okay, okay, fine. So, so this negative stress, not the positive stress, rather than bifurcating into both, we need to take the stress as a holistic manner. So when things go, doesn't favor in our life, when we go through certain problems or issues in life, how you handle them depends on how you understand stress. Okay, let me give you one more example where I know one guy who used to work in the ship long time back, 20 years back. So when he joined that ship, it's a passenger ship, cruise liner in US. It's a new job for him. He joined in the security department, and his chief of security, he saw this guy. He has an habit of harassing new joiners. So that's the way his habit is all about. So this guy, my friend who joined, he had a big dream in earning money and going around the world and achieving his dreams and goals. So he went with so high enthusiasm, with such vision and ambition. And after he joined, within few days, this chief security, I'm not taking any names, just want, it's a real story, actually. It's a live incident. So this guy started, the chief security started harassing him very badly. Harassing in the sense, asking him about the job, how he is doing, the process about the job, which obvious this guy doesn't know because he's hardly few days old. So he tried to explain to the chief, sir, you need to give me some time because I'm just new to this job. So he started abusing him also. So this started, putting a very big negative impact on my friend, and he started feeling, what am I done here? I've come here with such a big hope and dream, but everything is getting spoiled because of this guy. So he started crying. He told me he used to cry alone. And one night, he's also into yoga and all. Okay, he used to do a lot of meditation and all. So once he just started meditating and just relaxing himself, he found out, why is he harassing? Because I don't know my job. So what should I do? Learn it. So what he did, very next day, he took the help of one of his colleague and requested that person to teach him if possible. So that guy also helped him out, and within a week or two, he started learning. And obvious that harassment still continued, and my friend took extra time. He learned, and within 2 weeks, he learned so much that the chief security was amused. How did this guy learn? He's so good in everything. So he couldn't do much about it. And adding to that, what has happened, even luck favored him. Once early morning, when he was practicing yoga in the ship, one of the corner, the captain of the ship saw him. And he asked him, are you a yoga instructor? And all. Yes, yes, sir, I'm a yoga instructor. And then the captain requested him to, teach for the crew members. He said, obvious, I can definitely, teach. So in that way, what has happened overnight, he became so famous in the ship, and he became very close to the captain. And this chief security, who started harassing my friend, became his close friend, and he enjoyed his career after that. So this story, why I brought this story is, how that person handled his situation, right? See, here it is all about stress, it is all about challenges, it is all about how you manage the situation. So had he thought, okay, I can't manage this because this harassment is too much for me to bear, too much for me to handle, he could have quit, he could have just walked out. Nothing, that's it, finished. But then he saw, why should I quit? I can easily manage. What is that I lack? What is that I'm lagging or lacking? It is a knowledge, right? So the knowledge has made the other person to manipulate him and to harass him. So once he started handling the situation, seeing it in the right perception, and then he managed it and he became successful. So this is a classic example of how people should manage life. Okay, everywhere there is a problem, everywhere there is a challenge. Even now, if you see, before the lockdown, I used to say in a humorous way, earlier, before the entire lockdown has happened, people used to crave, oh my god, we can't spend time with our family, or hardly we get 1 day holiday or 2 day leave weekends, and we love to be with our family and friends. Now here, that became a stress for them earlier period. And now last 7-8 months, okay, especially in that 2-3 complete lockdown, we were all with our families whole day and night, 24/7. That also became a stress. Oh my god, how long should I spend time with my family? You see how things are different, how you manage it, whether you get this, whether you get that, everything is stress. The way you accept it, okay, it is all in your mind, how you accept things, how you perceive things, and how you manage things. So accordingly, you can manage the stress factor. So personally, if you ask me, also, I've gone through lot of hurdles in my life. So much of things. Even I was in the corporate world for 20 years. 20 years I worked in leading companies like Amazon, IBM, Google. I was in a very senior position also. The stress factor, the amount of pressure I used to manage is immense. But still, how I manage is because I love what I do. I'm passionate. So Monday to Friday is my work. Saturday and Sunday, back at home, I do my counseling from morning till evening. And once in a way, I do my workshops and sessions also. This was a long time back, I'm saying. So last 10 years, I'm left my corporate world. Now I'm on my own, doing my sessions in Kuwait, in India, and moving around. So how I manage this is, first is, I love what I do. I am passionate about what I do. Okay, I don't see the difference between working in office or being at home, or doing counseling for people or guiding people. Absolutely nothing. For me, everything is part of me, because it is me who does all these things, right? So once I love what I do, you don't feel that stress. So how do you love? Next question people may ask. So how do I love myself, or how do I love my work? That you need to find out. You need to find out. Some people may be passionate about doing certain things. Go for it. When you do what you're passionate about, then whatever the challenges you go through in your life, it will not be a challenge, or it will not be a difficulty. It will be an opportunity, and it will be like, it will not be a stress for you anymore. Okay, so how you manage all these things, again, depends on how you handle those situations. So here, again, I would like to share you a small story. Uh, this is about a Chinese story generally, but let us make it an Indian story right now. So in a village, okay, as usual, a villager was there, and he was living very happy with his son, his wife. Farm is having his farm, and once what happened is, he had one horse, and with that horse he was I'm sorry, a cow, and he was managing with that. And suddenly, after a few days, another cow came into his house, and it started living with him. So the neighbors around came over to him and said, wow, what a good luck, yeah, you got a cow free, and you're enjoying it now. Then that villager said, good luck or bad luck, who knows? So they were all surprised. Why is he talking like this? Are you not happy? He said, I'm contented with what I have. Whether it is good luck or bad luck, we need to wait and see. Fine, great. After a few days, the cow left. The cow which came, it left him. Again, they came and told him, "Oh my God, what a bad luck, yaar. The cow, has left you." And again, he said, same with smiling face. Good luck or bad luck, who knows? So, as usual, the villagers were again surprised and amused. So again, after a few days, he saw that same cow which has left brought few more cows along with them, with that, and it stayed with him. So again, the villagers came and said, "Wow, what a good luck, yeah." Again, the villagers said, "Good luck or bad luck, who knows?" And after some days, what has happened is his son, while playing with that cow, he got injured. No, by mistake, the cow kicked very hard on his leg, and this guy got a fractured leg, and he was bedridden. Again, the villagers came, his friends, and came. He said, "Oh my God, what a bad luck here! Earlier you had one cow, and your son was happy. Now, see, since you had so many cows, and because of that, your son got injured." So again, he said the same thing: good luck or bad luck, who knows? So again, the villagers, they didn't know what to do. I said, fine, they left. After some time, what has happened is, there was a war declared, and obvious, when war declared, all the youngsters, people, guys, above the age of 18, generally government request them to participate in the war. So the army came into that village, and when they came into their house, they saw this guy, the young kid, his leg broken, so they can't take him for the war. So they left that guy. So again, the villagers came and said, "My God, what good luck, yaar. Because of the injury, your son escaped from going into the war." So again, the same villagers said, "Good luck or bad luck, who knows?" So this goes on and on and on. So like this story, what that villagers mention about good luck or bad luck is about how you handle your things in life. Whether things go wrong, whether go right, accept things as it is. Okay, when you accept things as it is, you will have the clarity of managing or handling things in life. So if you don't accept things as it is, that is where the issue comes in. So how do you manage it? First is relax and understand each and every situation, how you manage. Okay. Two, as I told you, you should love whatever you do, whether it is your work, whether it is your personal life, whether it is your official life, anything. Understand, manage it the way it should be managed. And more important is respect. Okay, respect, be compassionate. These are all the small ingredients in life we should imbibe, so and we can manage even at home. I used to get a lot of counseling sessions, especially between husband and wife problems. Okay, a lot of the couples come and say that I have a problem with my husband, I have a problem with my wife, I am stressed out, she's not understanding, he is not understanding. So what I generally find is, the issue is about lack of respect for each other, lack of understanding for each other. Each one, husband would normally like to think that the wife should understand him by default. So same way the wife also has that problem. So this always leads into arguments and debate and lead to fight, and then a big issue happens later on over the period of a time. So what I generally say to these couples, and then why? Because this is again a stress. You bring in the stress factor. Why? Because you are not understanding each other. For example, one couple, came and that guy said, "Swamiji, I come back from my office, and the moment I come in, my wife doesn't even take care of me. Even if I have a headache, she doesn't bother. Okay, she just goes and does her own work." So here I asked him, "Have you ever told your wife that you have a headache? Did you tell her?" No, she should understand. I mean, this is something surprise, right? How can a wife understand what you have? What's a problem you have? You should express that, yes, I have a slight headache. Please, can you give me some medicines, or can you massage my head? Then maybe the wife can come and do it. In spite of she doesn't do, then the problem we need to analyze. So like the small issues, which we if you tend to let it go, it'll start growing into a bigger issues. So another example is same like husband and wife. When the husband, when he's hurrying in the office early morning time, he's sitting and having his breakfast, okay, and suddenly he sees that the food is very spicy. What will happen is immediately he'll shout at his wife, "What the hell are you doing, man? Okay, you can't even cook proper. Early morning I have to rush for office, and you can't even cook or even taste and serve me." The wife will start screaming from there. Don't you think I have no other job? I have to take care of the kids. You can only just get dressed up and go to your office, but have to get the kids ready. Have to do the cooking. So this argument again leads into unnecessary stress. Here, how situation should be handled? Maybe the husband should have been little bit more considerate. He could have just told his wife in a polite manner, "Wife, I think this food is a little bit spicy or salty. Can you please check on this? Maybe I might be wrong." So obviously she will come. She can, she will check and see if it is spicy. Yes, she'll admit, and it can be resolved in a very amicable manner. But these are all the things doesn't happen in our daily life. Why? Because ego or lack of understanding. So this is another big issue which is eating up in our society right now. If you see a lot of couples, they have issues mainly because that's the reason why you see a lot of divorce happening left and right. I'm not saying too much, but generally a lot of people are unhappy in their marital life is because of stress of because of lack of understanding, the ego. So these are the things people should start realizing. This life is such a short period. Okay, nobody is going to be here for eternity. Okay, so everybody takes life so granted. Okay, I am here for eternity, and I'm here even in my job or in whatever I do. It's all taking things for granted. Please don't do that, because nothing is permanent, nothing is real. Everything is short-lived. You don't know what is going to happen the next moment. So in that terms, what should you do? We should love each other, understand each other, forgive. Okay, even at your home, if your loved ones, whether your husband, wife, brothers, kids, or anybody, if they do anything wrong, just forgive them. It's okay. There's nothing harm, nothing wrong. When you start loving each other, give that love, you'll see how life unfolds its beauty. Okay, I'll give you one example. Again, it has happened in my life. Long time back, it's around 10 years back, my brother's daughter, she was in 7th or 8th, I believe. So she planned to go for excursion. So she asked me, "Uncle, I want to take photographs and all." So we didn't have a camera. She said, "Can you give me your mobile?" And that mobile, in fact, I bought that mobile just 1 week back, that flip mobile Nokia. It was around 10,000 or 11,000 at that time. I'm saying it is about 10 or 12 years back, 15 years back. So I said, "Okay, Molu, please," Molu means in Malayalam daughter. So I told her, "Molu, please be careful with this." And she said, "Okay, uncle, definitely I'll do." So evening, our house was a duplex house, so my bedroom is in the first floor. So evening, I heard a lot of commotion and sound and shouting in the hall. So I just stepped out and saw her mother started shouting at her, "What have you done? You go and see the uncle. You are going to be bashed left and right. What is that you have done?" And I didn't know what was happening. I just called her, "Molu, please come up. What is the problem?" So when she climbed the staircase, I could see in her palm broken pieces of my mobile in bits and pieces. She was just crying and handing it over to me. I said, "What happened?" "I'm sorry, uncle. It fell down and broke into pieces." I said, "Is it so? It's fine, no problem." I took that mobile and asked her, "Go relax yourself." I didn't shout. I didn't say anything. Next day morning, in a relaxed, she was also relaxed. Then I asked her what has happened. Then she explained. Till evening, everything was fine. Okay. While coming back home, her friend asked that mobile. So while she was handing over the mobile, the bus, the driver put a sudden brake and it slipped from her hand and it fell down in the bus and it broke into pieces. So that's how it has happened. I said, fine, no problem. See, nobody does it in a mistake. So this example, I'm not, why I'm saying this story or the example is, see, here there are two things. See, how I handled it is one aspect where she's also realized that how to manage things. And I also don't want to shout at a young girl who has not done deliberately. Nobody does anything deliberate, either to damage anything or spoil anything. So if I had shouted, for example, okay, if I had shouted and beaten her, okay, left and blue, what it shows is that mobile, it is my mobile, right? I earned it. It is mine. So how can she break it? So that ego, mine, my or mine comes into the foray. If I have broken it myself, will I beat myself? Absolutely no, right? I will accept it as if it is a mistake. So when you do it, you do any mistake and you accept it as a mistake. And if others does the same thing, you're not ready to tolerate. Why? Because again, the ego factor and that I factor, right? It is mine. So these things, that I factor, that is the ego, should be thrown out, literally thrown out of our life if you are going to live in a family with your friends. Okay, that same, my again, my niece, later on she started to be more responsible. Why? Because she understood how to handle things. So again, this is a stress, right? That small stress what she brought in, that with that small little girl with frightening face and a cry, everything went off. Why? Because how you manage it. So this is how the stress has to be managed. Okay, in life like this we can go on and on and on. Lot of incidents, there are several cases which even maybe in the end of the session, during our interactive sessions, you can also ask some questions, how to handle your personal life also. But it depends on each one, how you manage it and how you take it forward. So to handle the stress or to handle the challenges in life, generally I request everyone, whoever I meet in my life, I generally tell everybody is, see, one aspect is, yes, when life takes you through you, there is challenges, there are issues, there are problems, there are trials, tribulations, ups, downs, everything is part of our life. How you balance it, how you take it forward depends on how you look at it. Okay, so in that aspect, what do you require? So what is the essence or what is the basic requirement you need? You need a strong body, you need a strong mind. Okay, so generally I keep this, since I'm doing an online session, I don't have enough board. So, like a triangle, life is like a triangle. The bottom two edges, one is physical body, another one is mind, and the upper part is your emotions. Okay, this is how I generally, tell people. In that physical body and the mind, if those two are imbalanced, your emotions are nothing but your behavior, your habit, your character. Okay, physically, if you have a physical pain, automatically it's going to impact your mind. So if mind is impacted, your emotions getting impacted. So whether physical or mental, each has to be taken care in the right manner. So how do you handle your physical and your mental? Both require exercise. So physical body also require exercise, mental body also require exercise. A mental body means, I mean, your thoughts. Okay, so in that physical body, how you do your exercise, there are several things, several forms. Either you can do aerobics, you can go to gym, anything. But always I recommend is yoga. Nothing like yoga. But here I'm not here to recommend or force anybody. But any form of exercise is absolutely fine. But again, doing exercise is one thing. Doing it in the right manner, in the right time is another thing. Okay. Every day, early morning or late evening, do your exercise. In case if you want to do yoga in the morning, do your aerobics in the evening. So again, maybe in some other session, I will go through it in deep or in brief about the exercise part and other thing. But just to give you a summarizes, good exercise and for your mind. So what is the exercise for your mind? Is breathing and learning, hearing good things. Okay. First thing is about breathing. Why I'm emphasizing or giving importance to breathing. If you all observe, okay, everybody, we all get angry, we all get upset, we all get depressed or dejected, disappointment. So when you are angry or upset, have you all observed how fast your breathing is? It will be very heavy and very fast. But when you are relaxed, okay, when you're in a relaxed manner, if you observe, your breathing is very slow, subtle, and smooth. Okay, it will be a very deep breathing. So that is why I keep emphasizing on yoga, because yoga exercise or yoga asanas or pranayam, everything is based on breathing. Right breathing with the right stretching gives you the result. So same way when you are stressed out also, okay, when you're angry, when you're upset, or when somebody is troubling you, or even at office, if your manager scolds you, or at home somebody is abusing you, what you need to do is, how do you handle that? Just come back, sit in some place, just relax yourself. End of the session, I'll teach you a small breathing exercise which will help you to manage this. Okay, so if you do it in a regular manner, like if you make it as a routine practice, early morning and evening practicing your yoga or any other exercise, you will automatically get into that. But some, a lot of people say, no, we don't have time. No, we are, our schedule is very hectic. We can't even spare even few minutes of our time for exercise or anything. But I would humbly request everybody, please allot at least 15 to 20 minutes of your daily routine for some form of exercise, which is very, very important. Okay, if you do proper exercise and then food, eat right food at the right time. That is also very important. This is also a factor of stress. So how you manage stress, again, as I told you, your balance of body and mind is very, very pertinent. If there is an imbalance in body or in your mind, automatically it can impact your everyday life. That is your behavior, your character, your habits, the way you manage things, everything can impact you. So the right food in the right time, the right way you need to eat, that is also important. So a small few tips I can give you is, first thing is early morning, the moment you wake up, please have a glass of water. Good if you can have warm water, but some people are lazy even to go and heat that water and drink. It's fine. At least if you can have a just a room temperature water, one glass or two glass, more than enough. Depends on each one. It's not that one should drink half a liter, 1 liter, nothing like it. You drink as per your body condition or capacity. Have a glass or two of water. After that, go to your early, nature's call. Finish your nature's call. Then do some exercise if possible. Do that exercise. Give a break. Please remember, any exercise, okay, before you commence that exercise, if you have a heavy food, give a 4 hours break minimum. After doing exercise, 20 minutes minimum break. Only then you should have any other food. So make this as a routine habit and eat a lot of greens, okay, fresh vegetable, fruits. Please have anything, absolutely no problem. I keep getting people ask me, can I have this fruit? Is it harmful, like papaya and that? Absolutely no fruit is harmful, no vegetable is harmful. Okay, you can aramse have it and eat it. Okay, in a timely fashion. Morning breakfast, lunch, dinner. So generally, I see people also, in this fast-paced life, have their dinner at 10:30, 11. I mean, that's really not good for health. Okay, should always finish your dinner maximum before 8 o'clock. Obvious, people who are in the night shift, no choice. They have to have their supper. It is not dinner. They have supper in the middle of the night. Because I used to do that when I was in the ship. I used to work in the night shift also. So what I do is I'll ensure that night shift when I work, I eat a lot of fruits and juice. Okay, in the middle, night supper also. I don't eat heavy food as such, but I consume a lot of fruits and vegetables and fruit juice because that is easy for digestion. So why I'm saying giving emphasis or importance to food, as I told you, food plays an important part for your health. Okay, if you are healthy, if your body is healthy, obvious you don't need to worry about disease, any kind of disease. Okay, and that also will help you to manage things, which is again you'll be having a stress-free life. So uh, this food, exercise, please make it a part of your life. Okay, whatever you do, wherever you go. Okay, even even if you're traveling also, still you can find time at least 15 to 20 minutes. When you start doing that, it will really have a big impact on your overall aspect of your physical health and your mental health also. Both it will have an impact. I mean, positively. Okay, it will have a positive impact. So uh, so this, as I told you, this physical and food along with exercise, when you make it as part of your life, you will see a very big difference. Okay, when you do a workout, when you do a small workout and come, you will feel such a big relief within you. You feel so nice and energetic. Okay, if many of you are not in the habit of doing that exercise, I would suggest you can start doing it. And especially if yoga is what you wanted to do, a lot of people make this mistake of learning yoga through books or through video. Please don't do that. You have to always go to an instructor, you know, get trained under him, at least the basic yoga, and then you can start learning from books and all. Why? Because generally, certain yoga postures is not recommended for people suffering from certain ailment. For example, if somebody is having heart problem, they are not recommended to do Shirsasana or Sarvangasana. We don't recommend that. So I'm just giving you an example. So like that, if you have a proper tutor or a teacher, you should learn from them. In fact, even I have written a book called Breath in Amazon. It is there. In fact, I wanted to give it for free, but it's not allowing me to give that free. So it is charging minimum $1. You don't need to bother about that. I can share my book to professor and he can circulate to all of you. That book contains the basics of yoga. Okay, some 20-30 stretching exercises, few breathing exercise, and meditation technique also. So you can do that, or you can learn. Ideally, I would suggest that learn from some nearby your house. And in case you have any doubt or you want to have any clarification, you're always welcome to reach out to me. I'm available anytime. You can call me and check with me on this. So coming back to stress, so this physical fitness, mental fitness, really helps you very in your life. It really impacts you so much that you can handle your problems also in life. Okay, so how you manage, it is all about how you perceive things. So it's already now 12:25. I think we are close to 1 hour. So Professor, can I start the that breathing session, or should I go on and then, because the breathing session with that meditation will take another 15 minutes.
Okay, we can go up to 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So you can see another
Okay.
40 minutes are available.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah, sure. So this is my first session where I'm not seeing my audience. Okay. Generally, I see my audience and do, but that really has an impact, different impact.
Yes.
So even in my counseling, a lot of people, I do my phone counseling through Skype, and but whatever I do, I always say people, please come personally. That has a different impact. Why? Because when you have a personal interaction, the energy does everything. Okay, that energy matters. For example, I'll give you a small, before starting the session, why I'm saying that energy is very important is, see, your words, when you utter that words, the energy along with that words has an impact. For example, the sentence called "I love you." Okay, that "I love you." What is the meaning of that? It conveys your care, your affection. Okay, so many aspects of it. But how you apply to each one differs. That is what that energy is. So when you say "I love you" to your kids, it's a different impact. When you say "I love you" to your friends, it's a different impact. Okay, so each way, so the words doesn't change. Okay, the meaning remains the same, but the energy what you infuse into that makes the difference with the receiver. Hope you understood. Okay, so still as I'm doing this session, I'm just doing it in a blind way. So I'm just visualizing myself that you're all in front of me. And this breathing technique, what I'm going to teach you is, I request everybody to be with me in this session at least next 5 to 10 or 15 minutes. Don't bother about anything, your phone or other aspects. Just keep everything aside. Just be with me. It's a very, very simple breathing exercise, which is called Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. Nadi means nerve, Shuddhi means cleansing. Pranayama, as you all know, that prana is again your breath, and yama is control. So how you control your breath? Through this cleansing of your nadi, through this breathing exercise. Okay, so it's a very simple breathing exercise. What you need to do is you have to sit in a relaxed manner. Okay, you can sit down or you can sit in your chair, but keep your back straight. Okay, don't lean forward or sit in a couching manner. Okay, you should sit in your back should be straight and in a relaxed manner, either be in chin mudra in whatever way. Okay, just relax sit in a very relaxed manner. Okay, I'm not able to see you all, so I'm just going in the flow. I'm assuming that everybody is following me now. So let me go in a very slow manner. So all of you are, please sit in a relaxed manner. Okay, so then close your eyes, and this breathing is nothing but inhale and exhale. Okay, when I say inhale, take slowly deep in a relaxed manner, inhale, and exhale also do it in a relaxed manner. Okay, so I will explain to you at the end of the session certain aspect of the breathing also. Okay, now let's start the session. Now take a deep inhale, slowly, and exhale in a relaxed manner. Inhale and exhale. Take a deep inhale in a relaxed manner. Exhale. Take a deep inhale and exhale in a relaxed manner. Continue taking inhale deep and relaxed manner and exhale. And now breathe normal. Breathe normal in a relaxed manner. Relax. Relax. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Relax. Relax. Your body is completely relaxed. Your mind is also completely relaxed. Relax. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Relax. Relax. Observe your breathing, how slow and steady it is. Relax. No tension at any part of your body. You are completely relaxed. Relax. Your body is relaxed. Your mind is also completely relaxed. Relax. 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 This is the first step towards meditation. Now your body is relaxed. Your mind is also completely relaxed. Now stay in this position for a few more minutes in a relaxed manner. Relax. 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 Relax your body. Relax your mind. Relax. 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 Now take a deep inhale. Slowly. Exhale. Slow. Again, take a deep inhale. Exhale. And slowly open your eyes. And you can move your body. Relax. Relax. So we have just done this session hardly maybe 6 minutes. Okay. So this is that Nadi Shuddhi Pranayam breathing technique. So whenever you are, you feel you're upset, you're angry, just go sit in a corner, do this relaxation. Okay. As I told you, take a deep inhale and exhale 5 to 10 times, and then visualize and give an auto suggestion and keep yourself chanting, relax. I didn't use any mantra because that becomes a religion or religious. So that's the reason I use the word relax. So people who are, wanted to use your personalized mantra, please, you can use that. After doing this, 5 to 6 minutes, your body, your mind, your thoughts, everything becomes calm and quiet. And then you can do that mantra chanting. If somebody is not interested in doing mantra chanting, fantastic, no problem. You can absorb your mind. So that is now this is the next step to meditation. So just to give you a quick brief about what is meditation. Okay, a lot of people come to me. Okay, so okay, when you inhale, so I got a question right now. When you inhale, should I expand my stomach? No. You inhale and exhale, your stomach should contract inside, your lungs only should expand. So your inhale and exhale, you should feel your lungs. Okay, as I told you about the breathing, what or how that breathing has to be done. As I told you, it has to be done in a relaxed manner. And when you inhale, okay, I think you can all see me now. I'll just show you. Like this, you should not inhale complete and choke yourself. Don't do that. Okay, 95%. That is, inhale in a relaxed manner. Inhale. By the time you reach around 95, 96%, just stop, pause for a second. Exhale. So inhale, exhale should be through your lungs. You should not fill your stomach. Okay, it should be in your lungs. Okay, so as I was saying, the breathing, what you do should be done in a relaxed manner and in a place where you are not disturbed. Okay, so once you do that inhale and exhale, as I told you, the chanting part of it. Okay, what is meditation? Yeah, I missed out. So what is meditation? Generally, people think, you have a problem, you have an issue, just go and sit in meditation, your problem is solved. Absolutely no. I keep saying, everybody, meditation is not an alchemy for your problems. Please understand that. But it gives you a clarity of your problems. Why? Because see, now you have done the session for the few minutes, you would have, all of you, I can assure you, I can confidently tell you, every one of you would be in a relaxed manner. Your mind, your thoughts, everything is relaxed. So when you are in a relaxed manner, any problems, issues, you can see it with absolute clarity. Okay, that is what meditation gives you. And meditation, again, is not about concentration. Again, that is another wrong conception or a perception people have. Meditation is about concentrating. No, meditation is about observing. Please understand, there's a big difference between concentration and observing. Concentration means focusing, where you try to put an effort to see through or stay in that position. But when you observe, you don't need to. You just have to go in the flow. So meditation is all about going in the flow of thoughts. I'll give you an analogy, right? Just imagine yourself. Everybody would have heard this place called Kanyakumari, okay, where you see the sunrise and sunset. So beautiful it is. So when you go and stand there in that beach, and when you see that sunrise or sunset, do you focus or concentrate to see the beauty, or do you observe to see the beauty? Anyway, since it is an online session, I myself give you the answer. It is always observe. When you try to concentrate, what happens is you create a division, right? Like I, the observer, the sun, the subject, and the action. So there are three aspects of it, right? So you are creating a division where you miss the beauty of that sunrise. But when you observe, when you go there, when you stand there, when you observe in that beauty, what happens is neither you exist, neither the sun exists, neither the light or anything. It is that action of seeing that beauty exists over there. That is what is meditation is all about. When you sit in meditation, as I just taught you now, in a relaxed manner, when you observe your thoughts, okay, again, people will ask me, there are so many thoughts which keeps coming in. Okay, how do we control the thoughts? Please don't control your thoughts. Okay, again, I'll give you a hint over here, a clue. When you sit in meditation, okay, when your mind is relaxed, what kind of a thought comes in is not about your past, present, or anything. The thought comes is whatever you are not able to do, or which is tricky in your like tricky questions or problems or issues. Those are the thoughts, questions keeps coming into it. Whatever is completed will never come into your mind during the meditation time or during the relaxation time. Okay, so when those thought comes in, just go in that flow. One thought comes, two thought comes, there will be hundreds of thoughts, like a fraction of a second it will come and go. You just keep observing those thoughts. Let it come, let it go. You don't try to harness those thoughts. Harness in that, don't control the thoughts. Go in the flow. What happens is certain, puzzle or certain answers which you're seeking in your life or in your office or anywhere, it can come like an intuition. Or maybe after the session, you can see that answer. So that is the benefit of doing this meditation session. Okay, so as I told you, meditation is not about controlling your thought, but observing your thoughts. Be there in the thought. So for example, today if you start your session meditation, just few minutes. Okay, again, don't think that you should sit for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. No, absolutely not required. You sit in a place, if possible, sit in a, you assign yourself a place. Regularly go there, sit there. Even if you can do it in your own bed or down or anywhere, but assign and see that you use that same place every day. Why? Because the moment you do practice in that same position, same place every day, you create an energy over there. So after a period of a time, maybe after a few weeks, you don't need to put an effort to go and relax yourself. The moment you come and sit there, within few inhalation or exhalation, you just relax yourself because you would have created that energy. Okay, again, a quick analogy I would like to give you is, in our home, we have different rooms, right? We have kitchen, we have living room, we have bedroom. So each room, how you manage that, that energy also comes over there. You cannot go and sleep in the kitchen, right? Because the kitchen is place where you cook. So there will be a lot of spices and fire and these, things. So you can't go and sleep there. Your energy over there is different. But you go to your bedroom, okay? Your bed, your mattress, your pillow. Fantastic. The moment you go to your bedroom, and if you are using it periodically, maybe years together, the moment you go and lie down in your bed, you feel so nice about it, right? Why? Because you have created that energy in that room. Same way this meditation. So that is why I said, if possible, please maintain the same place, and if possible, the same time. It's okay. Even if you can't maintain the same time, that's fine. But maintain the same place, sit there, do this breathing for a few seconds, as I told you, 5 to 10 seconds, deep inhale and exhale, and then sit in meditation. Okay. And here, one more suggestion I would give you is, while doing that breathing, now since it's the first time, I just wanted you to just do the normal breathing. You practice this in the next few days or a week or two. Later, what you need to do is, your inhale and exhale should be 1:1 ratio. Okay. If you inhale for 3 seconds, ensure that your exhale also is 3 seconds. Why? If you see a lot of people, your inhale will be quicker, exhale will be longer. Some very few will be the other way around, vice versa. So to balance that is what this 1:1 ratio is all about, required. So in depth or in deep, it's a big subject about this breathing, okay, which, since the time is short, I won't be, because that requires at least another 30 minutes session to explain what exactly is breathing and, what are the nadis and things. So this is more than enough for you all. Okay, just do this relaxation technique whenever you're upset. If you can try, not only upset, you make it as a routine habit every day. If you do this, trust me, you will have that energy to handle things in your life. If you can do it in the morning. So morning breathing exercise should be done last. Okay, after you finish your physical exercise, whether you go for jogging, whether you do some gym or yoga, whatever it is, do that. And then finally what you need to do is do this breathing exercise and then relax, then come out. So after you finish the session, don't have any food or anything. Okay, 20 minutes, just have it as a break, because your body, your mind, everything will be so relaxed and nice. Okay, then you can manage, or you can have a little bit of a liquid, and then after 30 to 60 minutes time, you can have your proper food. Okay, so this is about it, and now we're already around 12:45. So sir, any questions or anything, or should I go on with some more time in the stress management?
Dear sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Tell me, sir.
I'm Johnson from Aragappa University, sir. I am very much. This session was so informative, and I thank Professor Arun Selvan sir for organizing this wonderful session for us. And you have taken the lighter way of how to overcome the stress, even in the difficult situation. I have one question regarding for clarification. How to control the ego and superego? How to make this all in a composed way? Can you throw some light on that? Because you are telling about the stress busters and all those things. Everything was very mind blowing and it was useful to us. But still, we need clarification of this three parametric actually, the ego and superego. How to make it a composed one?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, sir. So, okay. See, whether it is ego, super ego, or ultra ego doesn't make any difference. Ego is always an ego. What does ego showcases? It is my greatness. Okay, I, the person, the personality. Okay, the person in me, the personality in me. So this dominates. Again, why the ego comes in? If you are having something which others don't have. For example, if as I told you earlier in the session, a simple example of how I handled my niece. Okay, that mobile. If I had abused her, if I had given her some blows, why? Because my ego, it is my money, right? I bought it from my money. That handset, it's a brand new one. It's hardly 1 week old. Okay, how can she break it? Does she understand the responsibility? We keep on questioning her. Nobody does mistake deliberately, right? Nobody does it. So maybe they would have done by mistake. So if my ego is too high, I would have abused her and I would have chided her very badly. But here, what I have done is I understood my ego, right? Why? Not allowing that sense of supremacy over me, that it is my money, it is my mobile. Hence, I handled in a diplomatic manner. Okay, so this is one example I'm saying. Same way, even in your office. For example, in office, if you see a lot of managers, they have egoistic way of handling things. To the subordinate. Why? Because the position. They think that they are everything. Because I've in my career, I've seen some, as you said, that with that super ego stuff, people manage their subordinates. Why? Because their position, okay, their money, these all makes their mind go blind. They think they are everything, so they can manage people down below in a snobbish manner. But that's not the way. You should understand, nothing is permanent, nothing in life. Please remember that. How can you handle that ego is understand, give that ego a sense of touch, that ego, please understand, what you claim, what you think as your own doesn't last forever. Whether it is business, whether it is family, whether anything, it will all go in drain in no time. Okay, so this is how you have to convince yourself. So ego as such, that I factor, you can make it in a positive and in the negative manner. Whatever I said, it's how you make it in a positive manner. You need to be aware of what you do. Once you are aware of what you're doing, whatever you're doing, whether any aspect of your life, once you're aware of what you're doing, if you're going to hurt somebody, before hurting somebody, okay, you should, as the professor has rightly given a quote in the beginning of the session, where I've written the truth in 1 minute. What I've written is something like this, before you hurt somebody, remember, will you like somebody hurting you or somebody abusing you? When other person, for me, example, if somebody is going to abuse me, obviously I'm not going to like it, nor anybody of in this session. Nobody is going to like somebody is going to abuse you. But when you abuse somebody, we should also think the same impact it's going to have on them. Why? Because that, again, that ego factor. So when you are aware in doing things, every small things, don't do it as an effort, just go in the flow. Okay, whatever you do, go in the flow, be aware of what you do, whatever you do. Okay, when you're aware, your ego will not take center stage. Okay, rather that ego will give you the positive aspect, that it will remind you, you are a person, you are a humble person, and that love factor or the understanding factor comes over you, and you will be able to manage that ego. Hope, is it clear, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I just got a question that about the food also. What kind of a food should one take? And see, food. I strongly recommend all of you, if possible, whether you all have heard of a great doctor called Dr. B.M. Hegde. Okay, see, I'm not a medical doctor to recommend certain diet aspect and all, but in general I would suggest that I will just give you a brief also, but I would suggest if you can listen to this great doctor, Dr. B.M. Hegde. He's an avatar, like he's a true karma yogi. He's doing so much of good things in this for this country and for this world, but not many are aware of him. I don't know how many of you are aware of this great doctor. He's a cardiologist. He's a Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan awardee, and also he's a Ayurvedic doctor. He is in Bangalore right now. He must be around 80 plus age, but he has done lot of sessions, workshops and videos last 40 years. And truly, it's like an eye opener for everybody. Okay, so please spare some time. Again, I'm repeating, Dr. B for Bombay, or B for bat, M for Mumbai, BM Hegde, Hegde, Hegde. So please listen to this great doctor speech. It will really give you amazing enlightenment on food, health, especially on health factor. Okay, so coming back to the food routine, see, as a normal routine, what I would suggest everybody is never skip your breakfast. Early morning, as I told you, please have a glass of water. The moment you wake up, please have a warm glass of water. If possible, copper bottle is fantastic. So I'll not go in depth. Just a normal. Just have a glass of water, warm water. Do some kind of exercise after going for your nature's call. Then do some exercise, stretching and other things. Then after doing that exercise, take a break, 20-25 minutes or 30 minutes. Then go take your bath. Then have your breakfast heavy. Okay, what kind of breakfast? Any kind of a healthy food, like our South Indian, nothing like idli or pongal or upma. You can have any kind of a heavy breakfast. And then in between 10-11 o'clock, you can have some fruits, cut fruits and juice or also. And lunch, ideally best time is before 1, latest before 2, not beyond that. Same dinner, have light before 8, maximum by 9. So this is the general. Okay, but depends on, as I told you, a lot of people have different work style or work atmosphere, and based on that you should ensure that you modify your timings, but do not starve. Okay, don't starve, especially early morning breakfast, it's a must. And also uh, okay, also I'm sorry, I had somebody has been messaging me, so I'm sorry, I'm just missing those messages because I'm just removing my glass and talking to you. So what I was saying is the breakfast, and people keep asking me, is it good to have non-vegetarian food? See, I'm not an advocate. I'm a pure vegetarian myself because, as you all aware, I'm a Swamiji and I'm a yogi. So I don't take any non-vegetarian, not even milk I take. So that's my yogic lifestyle. But a normal routine lifestyle people should have is, yes, you can have fish or egg, absolutely no problem. But don't force yourself upon it. Okay, there are better, vegetarian food is far better. But still, no harm in eating non-vegetarian, but do it in a limited manner. And also, one last recommendation I would request everyone, if possible, monthly once do some fasting. Okay, fasting once in a month does a lot of detoxification for your body because your digestive system also needs rest. So you don't need to, some people who have some physical health problems or anything, you don't need to do 24 hour fasting. Even a 12-hour fasting is fantastic. So what you can do is, people generally who have some health issues, after they finish the dinner, say around 8 o'clock, your breakfast, you can just postpone it. Rather than by 7, you can postpone it by 10 or 11. So you fast for almost 14-15 hours. Fantastic, that is. It does really do good. Okay, people who are normal or healthy can try one full day fasting. So in case, if you feel slight giddiness or anything, please have some light fresh juice or fruits and you can have. There is no hard and fast rule like this is the way you need to do. Okay, we need to be flexible and understand how our body functions. So based on that, you should do. And in case if you have a health issue, I would definitely suggest please do consult your physician, your family doctor before doing this fasting. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Hello. Have I lost or?
No, your voice is clear.
You're audible. You're audible, sir.
Okay, okay. So I'm just looking into that questions. Okay, I think most of them I have answered. Great. So any other questions or anything or?
Sir, Namaskar. This is Dr. Fakir Mohan from Chandigarh.
Yes, sir. Yes, doctor.
Yeah, I have a question that those who work in the late nights, I mean, few people they are having the habit like sleeping at 2, at 3 o'clock in the night, and they
Okay.
wake up late. So, can they go for yoga and other things when they wake up at that time?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. There is no problem at all. As I told you, my own example. See, I used to work in, night shift in my earlier career. I also used to work in ships. Okay. And my timing is not night shift. It's like 20 hours at a stretch. I used to work 18, 20 hours also. Okay. But generally what I do is once I finish my shift, okay, night, early morning, before I go to sleep, I'll ensure that I do my yoga or exercise. Okay. But I generally do yoga. So I do my a few stretching, breathing, then relax for some time, go have a light food because you can't have heavy food and go and sleep. So I have a very light food, maybe light like a few bread toast and fruit juice or fruits, then go and sleep. After I wake up, once I wake up, then I have my heavy food. So this is especially like people, as you said, a lot of people who are, working late night. Those are the people who should do this. Even after you, for example, if you sleep at 3 o'clock, fine, no problem. After you wake up, the moment you wake up, whether it is 7, 8, or 9, no problem. After you wake up, just have a glass of water, go to nature's call, then you can do your yoga. Absolutely no problem. Yoga or any exercise, absolutely there's no harm in doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, any other questions or? So, Professor, is there anything else?
No, if the interaction is over, we can conclude the session.
Okay, fine, sir. So, fine. So, I'll take few minutes before we conclude.
Yes.
So, let me conclude, with a small story again. If you don't mind, it's a quick story, about anger. Okay, that is the biggest, issue which a lot of people have. So, this story is about a person, going and, talking to a saint, and that I asked, how do we manage anger and other things? So the saint asked, have you observed that when you are in anger, you shout, right? We shout in spite of people sitting next to each other. Why? So no answer from the disciples, they were saying, no, we don't know. He said, it is even in spite of they sitting next to each other, still they shout and in anger. Why? Because their heart is separated. Their heart is in a distance. That is why they keep shouting and shouting and shouting to prove that each one is right. But if you see, if two people are in love with each other, they don't even need to speak. Why? Because their heart is close. even if they are at distance, even if one person is US or in India, if they are loving each other, their heart is close. Okay, so this is the aspect of managing that anger. So when you are angry or you're upset, ego comes in. You should shun that ego, understand the other person, okay, and love each other, and you can have a beautiful life. So my mantra generally to everybody, I keep telling everyone is that, just 3 words: be truthful, embrace forgiveness, and spread love. If you have this formula, your life will be amazingly beautiful. Again, I'm saying, be truthful, embrace forgiveness, and spread love. Nothing like love, the beauty of love. Spread it. Let this virus called love permeate everyone, everything. You will see how, beauty this world will be, how beautiful this your life will be. Thank you so much.
So I have a doubt, a question. Yeah, causing some sleeping disturbance. You are telling about stress management. I am Nazi from Satyabama University. Some people facing sleeping disturbances. So in that case, how do you manage this 478 breathing exercise is good for the health, or what kind of exercise we can do, sir?
No, I am sorry because there was some noise disturbance. If I understood your question, people are suffering from sleep, right? You're asking what is the suggestion, right, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Uh, people who are having trouble in sleep is nothing again because of stress only. Okay, they carry forward. As I begin the session with that story of how you park your issues outside. Don't carry forward. The moment you come home, how you undress and go in one single piece, and how you lie down. Same way, undress all your problems outside. Don't bring those problems into your house. First thing that, okay. I mean, that is a philosophical way, but practical way, in spite of doing every aspect, still a lot of people have this issue of not able to sleep proper. The same breathing technique, what I've just taught you all, that Nadi Shuddhi, what you can do is, okay, you sit in your bed, keep everything ready. You should not go out or anything. Keep your bed sheet, your pillow, everything ready. Sit in your bed, do that breathing. Okay, inhale and exhale, relax, relax, relax. And in few minutes time, automatically you will feel sleepy. Maybe some, it might take few minutes, some few seconds, some maybe 10-15 minutes also. But if you practice this periodically, if you're having a sleep disorder or a sleep problem, obviously there will be a lot of other reasons, where we need to, if somebody is having a severe sleep disorder, definitely that person has to go for a counseling session, and they can understand. But in general, if you have a problem in sleeping, please do that breathing session in your bed. The moment your eyes started drifting, and you will feel going to sleep, just pull your bedsheet, lie down, and go to sleep. Okay, there's another way of auto suggestion also. Okay, we call it hypnotic sleep also. So when you do that, this breathing technique. So when we do hypnotism, this is how they do. They make you to go into the deep sleep with that relaxation breathing technique, and they take you to that hypnotic sleep. So you can try this, ma'am. Definitely it'll help you. This breathing technique, what I've taught you, will definitely give you that, a sense of taking off that stress, and going into that sleep mode also. Maybe it might take some time, some one day, some few days, but if you periodically practice, within few days you'll get back to your normal sleep mode.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your useful tips.
Thank you. Sir, any other questions from anybody?
Okay. Okay, Swamiji, we can close this session.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a very wonderful session, useful session to our participants.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And sir,
yes.
Yeah, Sir, do you want me to give my number to everyone if they want to reach out to me? I mean, I'm always happy to serve people.
Yes,
That
yes,
is my.
Yes, we would
you
like.
can give it. No problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
So, to my dear friends, you can note my number. It's 984000984009257. I'll repeat it again. 98400099257. This is my mobile number. And my only request is, in case if I'm unable to call you back, you can just text me. Definitely, I'll call you back. And I have a very strict yogic life, where I go to bed before 9:30 and wake up at 2:30. So after 9:30, my mobile generally is in silent mode or in switched off mode. So please don't mind about that. In case you want to reach out to me, I'm always happy to be a service to any one of you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Swamiji. On behalf of me and our Anna University, I thank once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Dear participants,